It's time now for business, and we're going to be looking at the mammoth budget that the White House revealed on Friday. And for that, we can go to Catherine Bennett from our business desk. Catherine, good to see you. What's the price tag that Biden is putting on this huge economic recovery?
Well, we're looking at a $6 trillion budget that he's laying out, which will start for the fiscal year starting in October. And of course, with that big spending comes a big deficit. Now, a lot of it we've seen before in his skinny budget, which was unveiled last month. There's going to be around 4 trillion euros worth of investment into physical infrastructure in the country and also social spending. So that includes education and childcare. He's also injecting a large chunk of money into the Department of Defense, including a pay rise for troops. Now, he wants businesses to raise wages. He said before that higher salaries aren't a bug, they're a feature of this new economy. And to finance the plan, he's going to be increasing taxes on companies and wealthy Americans. Now, that would result in a $1.8 trillion deficit in 2022, and that would balloon to a 10-year deficit of $14.5 trillion, bringing the US to spending levels not seen since World War II. Now, Biden has hit back at criticism that his plans are causing the economy to overheat. His opponents think that too much fiscal support for Americans stops them from wanting to get jobs. Now, here's what Biden said about that yesterday.
You can't reboot a global economy like flipping on a light switch. There's going to be ups and downs in jobs and economic reports. There's going to be supply chain issues, price distortions on the way back to a stable and steady growth. In the coming weeks, my administration will take steps to combat these supply pressures, starting with the construction materials and transportation bottlenecks and building off the work we're doing on computer chips.
Well, Biden's ambitious economic plan has been challenged somewhat by recent figures, showing a surge in consumer prices in April and slow job growth. Today, new figures showed that US inflation climbed 3.1% in April compared to the same month last year. That's its biggest year-on-year increase since the 1990s. Spending also increased by 0.5%, with consumers mostly directing their dollars to bars, restaurants and leisure activities. Income, though, dropped 13.1%. Now, the Federal Reserve has been hammering home that any inflationary increases are only temporary, and that, as Biden said, supply chains will adapt to these shifting prices. Well, let's look at how the markets are doing at the end of the week. Europe markets reached record highs on Friday and closed on a positive note. London's FTSE was just above the flat line, while the CAC 40 and the DAX were both up 0.75%. In Wall Street, it's also looking at a winning week with stocks moving higher. The Dow Jones, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are all up around 0.33%. Well, moving on to the energy sector, where this week could mark a tipping point for major oil companies. The sector is under pressure from all sides. Governments, shareholders and the general public want them to do more to tackle climate change and cut emissions. The French oil giant Total is the latest to announce that it's turning over a new leaf, as Ellen Gainsford explains.
There are big changes afoot for big oil. In the latest shockwave to the industry, Total's shareholders have overwhelmingly voted to approve a rebrand of the company, shifting towards renewable energy.
Today, to contribute to the sustainable development of the planet facing the climate challenge, we are moving forward together towards new energies. Our ambition is to be a world-class player in the energy transition. That is why Total is transforming and becoming Total Energies.
Total's climate strategy aims for carbon neutrality across its global operations by 2050, bringing it in line with targets set in the Paris Climate Agreement. The company's announcement comes after a turbulent week for big oil. On Wednesday, ExxonMobil and Chevron faced rebellions from their shareholders over their approach to climate change. And a judge in the Netherlands ordered Royal Dutch Shell to take more aggressive action to drive down its carbon emissions.
It's for the first time in history that the judge has decided that the large polluter, Royal Dutch Shell, should stop causing dangerous climate change. This will have an enormous impact not only on Shell itself, but on major polluters throughout the Netherlands and globally.
Pressure for change isn't likely to let up. Last week, the International Energy Agency warned that oil companies must stop all new oil and gas exploration projects from this year if global warming is to be curbed.
Twitter has listed a new paid subscription service on app stores called Twitter Blue. Twitter has previously said that it's looking to diversify its revenue, and at the moment it makes the bulk of its money through advertising and data licensing, but it ended 2020 with a net loss of $1.1 billion. So Twitter Blue could be a solution to that. A subscription would cost around $2.99 a month, and although details are thin on the ground at the moment, what it could do is give you extra features such as the ability to undo tweets or to organise your favourite tweets into folders called collections. I don't know, does that tempt you? I'm not sure I'd pay $2.99 a month.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think as journalists we're on Twitter a lot, but
Well, exactly.
$2.99 a month. I'm not
Just to undo your tweets. Just never make mistakes.
Exactly. Catherine, thanks so much.